all, I'd like to say I really enjoyed watching the film because being a Muslim of British Muslim of Pakistani descent, it's so difficult to find something that makes you feel, yes, I can connect to that, I can relate to that. That makes me feel a little bit good about myself. Also, those origins are also complex, but anybody who knows anything about faith knows faith is not about war, it's not about hatred, it's not about all of those things. So what is it?
Well, I found out about this project from Catriona, and I've met her many times, and I was speaking somewhere and she asked me to come along, primarily because we were working on a project called Faith and Khidmah, and she thought that would be a useful insight to bring to this conference.
I have a particular interest in relationships between Christians and Muslims in the UK and in Pakistan. And in fact, a couple of weeks ago I was speaking at a peace rally on Trafalgar Square about the treatment of Christians in Pakistan. And we're concerned about how we can build better relationships between the two faith communities here and there. So this is very relevant.
We hear a lot about Pakistan in the news, and quite a lot of what we hear in the media is not very flattering, and it's also sometimes presented in a rather alarming way. And I know from personal contacts, of course, there's much more to Pakistan than that.
In regards to how young people from the UK, what they think of people back at home in Pakistan, I would say, it's a mixed response. Some people find it that they can connect with those people, with the youth, but there is a certain amount of, I guess, preconceptions and misconceptions that have formed, and that's not only from the British youth, but that's also Pakistani youth have certain preconceptions and misconceptions about British Pakistanis. So I think there's some kind of, we need to bridge the gap somewhere or another, and kind of unite them in terms of, like, you know, their thought process, their assumptions. That's very important, I think, to do that.
Pakistan is the 6th most populated country in the world. The 6th, 180 million people live in Pakistan. More than half of those are young. So you have an opportunity there to influence the future of Pakistan.
The main thing is, look, we obviously want governments to do a lot, and governments can do a lot, but actually peoples can do a lot as well. Citizens of this country working with citizens of Pakistan. And just like as British Muslims of Pakistani heritage, we have many, many rights in this country. We need to try and ensure that minorities in Pakistan also have equal and fair rights as well. And there are things we can teach each other, working together, Christian, Muslim, those of other faiths, those who aren't members of any organised religion, how we organise our communities better, so we not just have tolerance for each other, but respect as well.
What I was very encouraged by was this sense, I think, from all of them, that they understood that this is an important time, but ultimately it's people who change things. And therefore how people approach the elections in Pakistan and how politicians in particular approach them is critical. For Pakistan being able to take its own future into its hands, I think being able to have the resources to do that is absolutely critical. So DFID does a lot of work on that. But I think one of the other challenges and opportunities, and I think we've got to take a decision, it's got to be the opportunity, is this demographic bubble of people that are coming through. We know that there are a huge number of young people in Pakistan, and to my mind, there's a choice. Either they can grow up unhealthy and uneducated, or we can make sure that they grow up healthy and educated and people who can really shape the future of their country in the way that they've got the potential to, if the investment's there.
Obviously for Justine Green, I think she's only been in post a few months. Pakistan's a huge country with a huge history, huge set of issues, and so she's clearly got a huge brief. And I thought she was pretty on it in terms of the big issues and the fact that it is, you know, potentially DFID's largest kind of country in terms of investment and development. And I thought she was very open-minded about the things that people were saying here. Humira was great, so yeah, it was good.
I think what I found really inspiring about listening to all the speakers was that we really all want the same thing, and we are saying it from different standing points and different emphasis maybe, but the motivation to have a really constructive change and help and support is really powerful and really strong.
I think one thing I've learned a lot is just even following a lot of young Pakistanis over Twitter who live in Pakistan and seeing the kind of lives they live. It kind of makes me realise that I stereotype a lot as well, and I think it's kind of building this dialogue between maybe young people here and young people there to really try and create a positive image of Pakistan.
That after everybody's heard everything, that what we'll do is we'll report back on some of the ideas which have come out, then agree amongst ourselves who's going to take what thing forward, because I know that this is a project that isn't owned by me. It's actually something that's owned by all of us, and how do we collectively support that effort. So that's something which we'd want to do. But first of all, what we want to do is actually have the discussions, and we'll do that for about half an hour, and then we'll come back.
I think the nutshell of the whole discussion in different groups was that Pakistanis and people of Pakistan, they need to sit together, whatever the religious or cultural background is. They need to sit together to explore the commonalities which they already have, and to explore the power to live together which they already have, because they are living together since centuries, since millenniums, I would say.
Well, I think it's a good experience, and I think it's a good effort that we all need to work together, whether we are here in Pakistan or in England, because we should be working together for the betterment of the nations and our communities.
So we're very pleased to present to you, Justine, with this World Peace Tartan stuff.
In context of Britain, I think, the racism we saw was something that's quite historic now. I mean, in the 80s, it was actually quite difficult living here in this country, and I remember being called Paki and whatever by a number of youths and being prevented from going to parks. But I think the way that the UK tackled this, and I think that's a feather in their caps, was they tackled it through schools, through education and cultural enrichment. And I think if we're going to see a change in Pakistan, something similar will have to happen. The problem in Pakistan is minorities are demonised. There are caricatures of every faith there. Whether you're a Jew, they'll characterise how you look and what you eat. And the same for minority Christians. They're seen as sweepers or untouchables, and being of the lower caste system. And this is something that we overtly need to remove before we can bring about any real change in Pakistan.